Welcome to another video tutorial. Today we'll be looking at border, paddings and margins. Let's get started. So we'll go to our text editor and we'll put our HTML5 source code and we'll label this as border, CSS border, okay, borders, paddings and margins. Now let's start with borders first. Border. The CSS border properties allows you to specify the style, the weight and the color of elements border. So let's quickly start with the borders. Let me write my comment as border. So let's write our code. Let's just create a div class. Remember, I've talked about class attributes in while we're studying HTML. So let's give a class of let's say a class of, you can give any name. Let's say class of love. Then we put h1. Then we just write CSS borders, paddings and margins. So let's talk about this. Let's put a paragraph tag underneath. Then use our lorem. That wastes much time. Okay. Now we want to add borders to these particular elements. So you can see I have the div class as love. I have h1 element and hp element there. So let us create our CSS class. I'm using internal for this particular lesson. So let's create our, so you put your style, your CSS class. Okay, now let us target this class love. Remember, in our HTML class I said something. I told you that if you are targeting a class, you use period or full stop at the beginning for CSS. So because this is a class and the name of the class is love, I'm going to use a period which we call full stop. I'll put this, I'll pull off, then I open the curly braces. Then let me give this a width. I want to give it a width of 900 or 900 pixels. Let me give it a height of 100 or 200 pixels. Okay, now let me save this. Okay, let me just give the color before I save. Let me give you a background color. Let me give the background color of let me say background color of royal blue. Okay, so let me save this work and refresh the browser and go to our browser. Oh, sorry, I've not right clicked our HTML. Right click, copy path, then go to the browser, paste this, and you do this. Now you can see this. So let us continue. Our aim for the first lesson is to create a border across it. So let us give it a border. Let's create a border. So just create a border. Let's say 2 pixel solid, then black, and give it a black color. Okay, that is the X code for black, 0000. So refresh the browser. I think you've seen it now. You see that there have been a border. There's a border across this particular div class love. I see the border. You can make the border to be thicker than this if you like. So if I want to make it to be thicker, I will just increment this to and make it, let's say 6. Then you see how this will be very thick. So let me refresh the browser. You've seen that now, that the border. So this is called the border. So border cuts across the div or across the element. So in the next one, let us talk about the border style. Another property is called border styles. So we click on this border style, then you can give it dotted. Save your work. and refresh the browser, you see what a dotted border style is. So you can see this is called a dotted border style. So I don't really need it, so let me just go back and let me just remove it. I don't need it. So this is how we create borders in using CSS. So the next one we want to look at is paddings. Padding. Let's talk about paddings. Now, when we say paddings, padding properties are used to generate space around an element's content inside of any defined borders. I repeat, padding properties are used to generate space around an element's content inside any defined borders. Now, for padding, it's used for generating space within, just within this content, not outside though, within this content. You can see this content here. Padding is within this particular box. Margin is outside. So let me just help you out with some examples of padding. So let us create a padding across our div class log. Let's create a padding. So I want to show you how to create a padding. We have padding right, padding left, padding bottom, and padding top. Let's start with padding top. Let's say I want to create a padding across. Let me use a padding for H1. So let me just try H1 and put a padding. So H1. Let me just put padding across H1. So let's say padding top. So padding top, I want to show you what padding top does. So let me use padding top as 40 pixels. I save my work. I want to make H1 as a padding. So you see that. You see what really happened? The H1 came down, padding top. Now this is the 40 pixel padding top between this content H1 so the top of this particular box. Take note, I told you that the padding is within, inside the box. So let us try padding. Let's try another one. Padding left. Padding right left. Let's try padding left. Let's try padding left. Now padding left, we shift this page. There will be a space here. Padding left. There will be a space from this particular box, inside this particular box, to this edge. Now let me refresh the browser and you see. Voila. You see that there's a space between this and this, because I added the padding left to my H1 elements or H1 tag. So let us talk about padding right, which is the same thing. Now padding right will go to the right to shift to what, to create space from the right. So let me refresh the browser and you notice one thing, that this H1 shifts fully to the left, leaving space between here and here, because this was the space from here to here, which is 40 pixels from the right. So we also have padding buttons, padding button and the rest. So let's put padding button so that you see. But it's already in padding button, so there will not be change. Now you see what really happened. Immediately I put the padding button, what happened? This paragraph text was forced to come down. That means from here to here is 40 pixels. From this place to this place where the paragraph text is 40 pixels. That is how you use a padding. So padding creates space in between the box of any elements. So there are many ways of creating a padding. There are many shortcut ways of creating a padding. If you are having 4 values, for instance, if the padding properties are 4 values. Now let's do something very, very funny. Not funny actually. Let me say this. I have something like 30 pixels, and I have something like 12 pixels. I have something like this, 18 pixels, and I have something like 30 pixels or 25 pixels. Now this is a short then I remove the bottom here. This is a shorthand method of writing padding. Now let me explain how this works. Because this is 4 values. 4 values indicate that the first one will be what? Will be top. This is top. It means there should be padding at the top, and the padding at the top should be 30 pixels from the top. Then this one here is called the right. That means there should be 12 pixels padding from the right. Then this third one here is called the bottom. That means there should be what? there should be 18 pixels from the bottom, while this 25 pixels is from the left. That means there should be 25 pixels from the left. So save this work, refresh your browser, and you see some changes that will take place now. Voila. You saw what really happened. 25 at the top, there was margin at the top, the left, the bottom, and the right. This is how you write the short hand or the short code, or sorry, the shorthand for padding properties. Now you can also have 3 values for the properties for padding. If I have 3 values, for example, if I have let me delete this. For instance, if I have 3 values, 3 values indicate that the first one, this 30, is the top. I mean, there should be padding at the top, while the second one is for both right and left. I mean, there should be 12 padding from the right and also from the left. 18 pixels means from the bottom. So let us save this and refresh our browser to see what will really happen now. Voila, you saw what really transpired. So this is how you create a padding. We also have 2 values. If for instance I have 2 values, this indicates that there should be 30 pixels from the top and 30 pixels from the right and from the bottom. Then this 12 indicates 12 pixels from the left and also 12 pixels from the bottom. Now let me save this, Ctrl S, and go to the browser and refresh the browser. You saw what really happened now. Top, bottom, left and right. So if I decide to make this, let's say 42, so that you see what will happen to the left and right margin. See, there will be a change now. You notice something. It shifted a little bit, and also from the right. So this is how you create a padding. So the next one I want to look at is the margins. The margins. Now, when we say margins in CSS, we talk about the way we create space around element outside. Take note, outside. So margin properties are used to create space around element outside and define the borders. So margins are always used in creating space outside the element. Padding are used in creating space inside the element. That's the difference between margin and padding. Padding creates space inside the element, while margin creates space outside the element. Now let me write this. Let's make this a margin. Let me even give it the margin. Let me give it the margin. The H1, we give the H1 margin. Now it's the same thing applicable to margin and padding. When you have 2 values here for margin, it means top and bottom should have what? The top and bottom should come with the 30 pixels, while the left and right should come with what? Should come with the 42 pixels. For this one, let's save it. Margin. You see what will happen? There's a margin from this. Take note that this H1 is an element tag. So there's a space margin top 30 here and the margin bottom 30, and the right, which is 42, so 42. Now let's give it just one. Let me just say just one values. I want everything to have the same equal margin. Let me say 60, so that the space will be much. This one will give me equal margins, 60 pixels from equal dimension from the right to the left. Now you see that. You see the margin that took place between this H1 tag to the paragraph tag, top, bottom, left, and right. So now let us create a margin across for the love class. Let's create a margin here. Let me just say margin. Let me say margin. Let's say 30 pixels, 30 pixel top, then top, and then right. Let me say 40. Should I say 40? I'm going to say 30 pixels to the right. Then for me to create the bottom, I want 30 pixels. Oh no, let me take 20 pixels to the bottom. Then from the left, I want 50 pixels to the left. Now this is 4 values. This one means there should be margin. There should be 30 pixel margin from the top, 30 pixels margin from the bottom, 20 pixels margin, sorry, 30 pixels from the top, 30 pixels from the right, 20 pixels from the bottom, and 50 pixels from the left. So save your work, then refresh the browser. Voila. Now you notice one thing, you notice what really happened, that the outside, which is the margin, outside there is a space has been created outside our div class, outside, while for padding mostly it's always inside, except you are doing an element here, you are targeting an element here, but margins always give space outside. Now if I increment this so that you get to see it better, let me make this 80 pixels from the top. You will understand this div element log will come down, it will come down. Now let me save it and fresh. You see that now, this from here, from this place to here is 80 pixels from the top. You see that? So the more I increment the top, what are we to keep giving me, margin space at a much, and my div class log will be coming down. So if I refresh this now, this div class log, it will keep coming down because I have increased the margin top. So let me refresh it and you see that now. So this is how you create margin. Now let me do the same for the left. Now top, right, bottom, left. Now let me increase the left to, let's say, 150. I save this work, go to my browser. Now as the left is 150, if I refresh this browser, this div class log will shift from here to the left hand side. There'll be space from here to here. Now watch this. You see that? You see that there's a space from here to this place where it was initially. That is margin left. Now let me do the same thing for our right. Let me give the right just, let's say, 70 and refresh the browser. Can you see it's already on the left and on the right? There are a lot of space here already. So the bottom, if I change this bottom, the bottom here, so let's say I want it to be, let me just leave it 0. I don't actually need it to be, let me just make it 0. Sorry, let me make the bottom to be 0. Let me just leave it that way. I don't want any margin bottom. So the next thing we want to do now is to look at how to centralize this our div class called log. How to centralize this, how to give it equal automated equal left and right margins, because you'll be needing it to create a website. How to centralize it, you will need to learn this. So let us go to our text editor again. I will remove all these margins. Then I want to use margin auto, so I'll just put this margin auto. So watch me, I go to the browser, I refresh. Observe what happened when I put margin auto. What you observe, it centralizes it to the center. You can see from here to here, it has automated the space to almost the same from here to here. This is how you automate your div class or your div ID container into center. So I can now decide to give the height. Let me give the height like, let's say, let me just give the height. I can decide to do some stuff here. Let me just quickly copy and paste some stuff here. Let me just do some copy and paste so that you get to see it better. Oh, sorry. Let me just do some copy and paste here. What's wrong with this thing? So without wasting much time, I don't want to also keep wasting much time. Paste, keep pasting. Now save my work. Now there will be an overlap. Okay, then you increase the height because there's an overlap now. So let me increase the height so that that's what I want to show you. So I'll just make this 900. Let's increase to 900 or auto. Okay, now I want the background, the body background. I want to change the background color now to red or any other color. So you take this particular tag called body. So let's give it a color. We come to the top and give it body, and I put the background color. Let me pick background color as red and save. Refresh the browser. Wow, this is good. So you can see this is just an intro of how you create some of the CSS websites. This is just a phase. It's very simple. By the time we get to more advanced features of CSS, I'll be showing you a lot of stuff. Then before we start into our projects that we're doing, a lot of projects we are going to do in this course. So thank you very much. So see you in our next class.